one. It is another edition of Rock Talk right here on CGCM Rock Radio, where we talk rock because that's how we roll. My name is Bob Bannister, and joining me this time around, we are talking with another Canadian artist, which is always a good thing. We love to promote Canadian. We're talking to a guy from a power trio based out of Western Canada. The band is Jade Elephant. The artist we are speaking with is Kyle Tenove, the bass player from the band. Good morning, Kyle.
Good morning, Bob. How's it going?
Very good, thank you. And you know, it's really early where you are right now. It's what, 7 a.m. where you
7
are?
a.m. Yeah.
I got a little better. I'm 9, but we're both here hitting on the coffee cup, you know.
Yeah. Even rock stars get up early.
Absolutely. We've got day jobs, you know. So you guys have released several singles, most recently Bad Thing. And you know, I'm picking up a little bit of Zeppelin in there.
For sure.
And the same thing with Taking Me Back, but then your other single that you've got out, Listen to the Beatles, well, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, we are big fans of British rock and roll. We love Zeppelin. I think that's kind of one of the goals with the band early on was we're a power trio, but can we do what four people in Zeppelin did kind of idea?
Mm-hmm.
We want that power, we live by the dream of we want to get to Madison Square Garden, like the song remains the same and all that. So they've been,
Yep.
I mean, huge part of growing up was Zeppelin. The first song I ever heard, my dad purposefully, when he brought me home when I was born, played Whole Lot of Love. So it's
Oh,
just kind of
wow.
in our blood.
That is so cool. And you know, the thing I've noticed recently is there are a lot of power trios popping up, and every one of them, or at least the great majority of them, have got this big, huge sound. And you know what? It sounds to me anyway. They sound bigger than a 5-piece or a 4-piece or any bigger band. Why is that?
I think it's kind of an interesting thing right now. We're getting back into guitar land. I think guitar
Mm-hmm.
has been kind of on the shelf for the past decade, at least. But it seems like people are getting more interested into that again. And then with the power trio, you have so much space. Um, I've played in 5 pieces and 4 pieces and 6 pieces and 9 pieces and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're playing in those, you only have a little bit of room for your instrument. I think with the power trio, the reason why it sounds so big is because we all have room to breathe. So we're all laying it on the line, full energy, instead of kind of minding to your little niche. So I think that's a
Right.
big reason why.
And that seems to be a formula that the the big power trios like Cream and ZZ Top had all figured out. Something
Yeah,
like that you know, you've got room to breathe and you can express yourself freely.
totally. And then as long as you're listening to each other in a power trio, that's kind of the key. If you're all listening to each other, so you're playing off of each other and not kind of three people individually playing something different, then you can create this big sound because we're all supporting each other. And as the bass player, that's my job, is to glue the drums and the guitar together. And with the three of us, it's like then we can create this huge sound.
Exactly. Because I was just going to say, like, as the bass player, you're technically part of the rhythm section, but with it being a 3-piece, you're also in the forefront as well.
Yeah, yeah, totally. It's a bit different kind of a beast than, like I said, playing in a 5 piece or whatever,
Yeah.
where maybe I am just part of the rhythm section. As a bassist, I'm really in this band playing bass guitar. Like
Yes.
I'm a part of that. And when Mitch goes to solo, like on the recording, we've got overdubs and all that, but when it's live, I have to be able to be the rhythm guitar behind him as
Hmm.
well. So just kind of filling that out. But again, it's kind of like being in a power trio is very freeing because you do have so much space to to just go.
Absolutely. So give us the backstory of Jade Elephant.
So Jade Elephant, we formed in May of this year, so 2024. Um, the three of us had played together in another project before. Mitchell and I have done sessions together, and we had met Taylor about 2 years ago. So we were performing together, and we decided, why don't we start a new project? with the three of us, so that it's kind of, us starting something fresh. Our sound in our previous band was starting to develop into more of a modern sound.
Hmm.
So we thought, you know what, let's kind of put that one to rest and let's move on to a new group. So we spent about 5 months trying to figure out, number one, what is our name? And number two, what do we want to do? Like what is the goal for the sound with the band? What is the goal for releases and so on? And fortunately, we were already working with a producer in Calgary called Russell. His name's Russell Broom,
Hmm.
and he's a Juno Award-winning producer here, and he's also an alien guitar player, like one of the craziest guitar players. He plays in country groups. He like has played with Jan Arden, but then on the other hand, he's also played in like progressive bands and in rock bands. Like he's kind of the go-to guy in Calgary for guitar. So we've been working with him. So at the same time we were recording before we had the name, then we came up with the name. We went out to a studio and did a retreat for 2 days, and we stayed out there, and we had probably 50 different names, but we really stuck to Jade.
Hmm.
We were like, oh, Jade's cool. We want to be a little bit mystical, kind of feeling on the Led Zeppelin thing. And then we were kind of talking, well, we want to represent, like, we're really loud, like live, we're loud, and we're not afraid of that. We hand out earplugs, it's a whole thing. So we thought, well, what's loud? And then Taylor, I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Taylor, suggested elephant, Jade Elephant. And me being the bass player and the pensive one, I said I need to sleep on it because the other two were really excited about it. And I woke up the next day. Luckily, I had a green shirt, put it on, walked out at breakfast. I said, "It's done. Like I'm sold." And the other two, like they were already ready with it. And then we looked it up because we also want, what does a jade elephant represent?
Hmm.
And it's a pretty common symbol across the world. So, and it represents wisdom, power, good luck. So we thought, well, it's kind of perfect for what we're trying to do. So that's kind of how it all came together.
That's cool. And you kind of gave me an idea here. This is a merch idea that I'm giving to you. Like you said, you give out earplugs. You need to get some company out there, 3M or whomever, to manufacture Jade Elephant earplugs, little green earplugs with the label on it or your logo on it, so that when you come in the concert, there you go. Here's your
Yeah, totally. And I think, and then we'll get them in the little keychain case.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can get
yeah.
like the little capsule. Okay, thank you, Bob. I'm gonna
You're
write that
welcome.
down.
Absolutely. So, what is it like seeing Jade Elephant live aside from Loud?
Um, it's an exciting show. It's kind of there's a lot of bands who start out and they kind of go, okay, I've got to build up my 30-minute set, my 45-minute set. We've been playing together for a while, like I said, in other projects as well. So learning songs isn't very difficult for us. So we're more if you come see us and we're the only band playing, you're going to see 3 45-minute sets. Like we're going to go, extended guitar solos, bass solos, drum solos. Like we really lean into the rock thing and kind of representing the old school way of doing it because I think along the way that's kind of been lost.
Mhm.
So what we like to do is we like to make it feel like it's intimate with the crowd, even though it's loud. We're like Mitch is very personable on the mic, and then we play our original tunes, and then we like to mix in some cool covers that we like to play. And then it helps kind of people relate if they're new to the Jade Elephant thing. Oh, they also they can crush a Deep Purple cover or
Nice.
like we love to play Zeppelin, of course. So, but and then yeah, it's just kind of it's like what our live sound is. I'm really proud, and we're all really proud of what our recordings sound like because that sounds like how we sound live. So you can just imagine either listen to the Beatles, Take Me Back, or Bad Thing, but then just add a little bit of kind of exploration in the guitar solo sections or whatever, and we might extend it out, and depending how the feel in the room is, and yeah, it's a full on rock show.
And do we have some more music coming our way soon from Jade Elephant?
We do. We don't have an official date yet. We're
Okay,
currently working on an EP.
nice.
We've got an EP in the works for before the end of the year. And then to follow that up, we're looking into 2025. We're going to do a full length album, which has already partially been recorded.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah, so aside from our touring and all the other things we're doing right now, including 7 a.m. radio shows, um, we're also often in the recording studio with our producer Russell Broom and just hacking away at these new tunes. And we've actually just started writing for album number two.
Oh, that's amazing. Now you've touched on something as we've been talking here several times. You off the top, you touched on the fact that guitar is coming back. Do you think that we are in a rock revival? I
I
mean,
Yeah,
it sounds to me like rock is coming back, but
totally. I think that's kind of, we live by that. Like, I think that's kind of, and we talk about that a lot.
mm,
Even where we're from, which like Calgary's known as kind of a country hub because we have
mhm.
the Calgary Stampede and all that. And it hasn't always been that way. Like, I wouldn't say country is necessarily dominant, but it has an industry here. If you want to get some placement and some commercial success, country is a really great lane here. But all of a sudden, there's been all these rock bands popping up here, which has been awesome. Like in the younger generation, between like 16 to 21 year olds, all of a sudden there's all these rock bands, and it hasn't really been that way here for 10 years, probably at least. And that's just a micro of of the international scene. And what
Mm,
I found, even with the release of these singles, because we've kind of felt that way too, like, do people listen to rock anymore? Is our demographic 60 plus? What are we looking at? And what we've found is, as soon as people hear it, it's just energy. That's the whole thing with rock. It's
mhm.
energy. We're not trying to sell, like, necessarily like locking into just the blues pattern or anything like that. We're
Right.
influenced by all those things. But if you can add a little modern twist to it and some songwriting ability to it, then I think it's kind of digestible for anyone. Um, one kind of moment in our careers, in our previous band, we opened for, which was also a rock band. We opened for Mariana's Trench,
Okay. Yeah.
who in Canada is huge.
Mm.
We don't match their style or anything at all, but we were really fortunate to open for them. And I looked out into the crowd, and the demographic was probably 13 to 21-year-old female. And I
Hmm.
thought, we're going to die. Like, we're going to go out there with our guitar solos and drum solos and our rock three-piece thing, and they're going to hate us. Like, we're their grandparents' music, right? And we went out and we did our thing, and we didn't hold back. I didn't even say anything to the other guys when I looked out. And that day we gained so many new fans, as well as we had so much. We sold merch in the lobby, and we had two lines wrapped around the building.
Oh, that's
um,
cool.
Security had to help us. Like, it became this whole thing, and that's where I had the realization, like, as long as you put rock in front of people, it doesn't matter what we're doing necessarily, as long as the performance is good and the music and the songwriting is good. I think it's available to anybody. And that was kind of a common comment. Oh, I didn't think I liked rock music until I heard what you guys did. And we're like, it's working. So I do believe, I think it's just more people have to commit to it, and yeah, just keep working on your rock chops. It's hard.
Yes, yes. And it's funny. Your answer almost mirrors the same thing that was said by another band that I interviewed from Winnipeg, and I asked them the same thing: is are we in a rock revival? And that's exactly what they said. And the one thing that you both have mentioned is there are a lot of young groups like coming up that are like, these bands that are being formed by kids that aren't old enough to technically get into bars, but they can go and they can play, but they just can't. They can't hang out there.
Yeah, yeah. Depending what province, because I mean, some of the Alberta's pretty good. Is that you can contact AGLC here, which
Right.
is the governing body, and you can get permits. So to help, because there's room for them. Bars aren't the
Hmm.
same as they used to be, right?
No.
Like, but at the same time, I think it's important that there are more all age venues because these kids need a place to play because that's what it is, right?
Yep.
Especially rock, I think it's you have to be out there just working the thing. That's why we tour constantly, even just in our province and like our region. We
Hmm.
tour constantly because you have to be just working at it all the time. That's what creates the show. That's why Zeppelin was so incredible. They were all
Yep.
so seasoned, right?
Yep. Yep. So who's on your playlist at the moment aside from Beatles and Zeppelin?
All kinds of different stuff. I'm I kind of go across the board. Like I'll pull up right now what I've been listening to. Um, from Winnipeg, Field Guide.
Hmm.
Just put out an album that's incredible. So I've been listening to that. I'm a big from the Beatles. John Lennon's my guy. So a lot of John Lennon, some Solomon Burke. I like to also go back to what influenced the rock guys, right? Like Mick Jagger and all those people said like Solomon Burke was their guy. Like they
Hmm.
heard him for the first time, and everybody needs somebody to love, and they're all like, whoa. It was like the Little Richard thing, right?
Hmm.
The Dwight Twilley band. They
Okay.
were kind of like an offshoot of the same label that Tom Petty was on. And then I just traveled to New Zealand in February for my honeymoon. So I'm really big into Fat Freddy's Drop right now. So which is more of kind of like a reggae New Zealand hybrid. But I think sometimes outside of the band, it's nice for me to listen to something completely different because otherwise I'll find myself, I don't want to be accidentally lifting things.
Right. I understand that. Uh, but one thing I like to ask all artists is, there's one song. Everybody typically has one song where they go, you listen to it and you go, damn, I wish I wrote that.
Hmm.
What's yours?
It's one that we actually cover a lot right now.
Hmm.
Hush by Deep Purple.
Oh, oh yeah.
We do that one, and it's a highlight for the three of us. We love playing it, and we all sing backup. Or Mitch sings lead, and Taylor and I sing backups. And if I could turn back time and grab a song, it would be that one because the energy, as soon as we play that, everybody knows it. It doesn't matter who, they might not
Yep.
even know it's Deep Purple, but they know the na 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 na
Hmm.
chorus. Everybody knows that, and you can see it. Like it's so awesome. So that would be the one I would grab.
Yeah, it's got to be a like so much fun to be up there on stage, and then you hit that chorus and you see all the light bulbs going on in everybody's face. Oh yeah, I know this. I know this.
Oh, totally. And I mean, it's a funny song because it starts pretty abrasive because it's all hits
Yes.
at the beginning. And we don't have an organ player, so Mitch is comping the organ part on
Okay.
guitar. So, but yeah, it starts kind of abrasive and then it kind of chills out and then gets into the groove and people, kind of what like they don't know what it is, but as soon as we hit that na 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 off the top, it's just like, yeah, everybody knows. And we played a festival not far from here in Wayne, Alberta, called
Mhm.
Wayne Stock, and we played that, and it was a wide audience. Like it was, maybe not teenagers, but like young adults to probably up to 80 years old.
Right.
And it was packed, and we were in a tent, and we were playing it, and it was really interesting to see that across that age group, we've got people singing that song. It's just kind of in the air.
That's cool. That's really cool. So before we wrap this up, I always like to do a little thing I call this or that. It's just a series of rapid fire questions, top of head answers, and just we'll go from there. And you just give me your top of the head answer on these questions. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. So we're going to start with CD, cassette, or vinyl.
Vinyl,
Spicy foods or sugary treats.
spicy foods.
Iced coffee, iced tea, or iced water.
Iced coffee.
Pool, beach, or water park.
Beach.
Video games, board games, or card games.
Video games.
Pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
No.
And finally, somewhere down the road, they're going to make a movie of Jade Elephant. Who plays Kyle?
I've been told I look like David Spade, but I think he'll be a little too old to play me by that point. That's a good question. Let's go Timothy Chalamet. Should we go high?
Okay.
It wouldn't be him.
Well, Kyle Tenove, that's been a great interview. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Rock Talk. What's the website? What's the socials of Jade Elephant?
Jade Elephant Music across the board, jadeelephantmusic.com for the website. We're on every streaming platform, which, as much as it's a bit of a beast, it helps us get into festivals and gigs. So please stream away.
Absolutely. And again, thank you for joining us. It's been a whole lot of fun, my friend.
Thanks so much, Bob. Really appreciate it.
And thank you. And we'll catch you again next time on another edition of Rock Talk right here on CGCM Rock Radio.